Welcome back. Frederick's News Radio 930 WFMD. Frank Mitchell filling in for Blaine Young this afternoon. Thanks for listening. And we're talking to Ryan, Neil, and Neil from Advanced Helicopter in Frederick, in particular about their Heli-Flights for Hope 2009 and other fundraising events. And we started off talking about your personal situation, Neil, and we talked about helping, I guess, focusing on boys at risk 12 to 18. But when you talk about boys at risk, I know I do some work with Big Brothers Big Sister. There are all kinds of groups that do different at-risk situations. But do you really want to focus on what kind of kids this helps out?
I think the genesis of the foundation was set up, like Neil said, from his son in the discovery of bipolar disorder and being placed into the home. And I think on the whole, mental illness is kind of a taboo subject. And this Advent Home deals specifically with, the boys ages 12 to 18. And we'd like to kind of broaden that a little bit, but still generate some awareness on the topic at hand, which is mental illness in children. Talking about bipolar disorder and ADHD, ADD, those types of things. So this foundation, is kind of set up to raise funds for these types of schools to try and help out in any way possible. And like Neil was talking about, these foundations have the school Advent Home will have a worthy student fund. It's kind of a scholarship fund, for lack of a better term, for students that wouldn't otherwise be able to pay for their schooling. So we're trying to raise awareness for the problems at heart, but then also on top of that is trying to raise some funds for these schools to get them the money in the hands of the people that can do the most good for the community.
Okay, now you're trying to do all this. I like what I'm hearing. What can I do? How do I help? How do I find out more, etc.?
What a fantastic question. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Well, there are certainly two ways. If you feel so inclined, we are looking for donations, obviously. The end game, where the rubber meets the road, is we'd like to be able to give scholarship funds to Advent Home. We'd like to be able to give general funds to Teen Challenge, which enables them to do their work. Both of those charities, it's very labor-intensive, and in order to be labor-intensive, you need to have labor. Yeah. So if you feel so inclined, we have the ability to pay on the website via PayPal. You can actually make a check payable to the Advanced Helicopter Youth Foundation and pop it through to the mailing address, which is 330 Aviation Way, Hangar 18 in Frederick, 21701. In fact, we would obviously accept donations in kind, which would be items that we could use for the silent auction and the main auction at the event on September the 19th. For those who feel so inclined, they can go door to door and collect mileage sponsorships. It's an 850-mile flight, and if you sponsor a penny a mile, that would be the equivalent of giving $8.50. And we have forms that we can get out to you for that. The other way is to volunteer some time. We have a need for people to promote the dance and sell dance tickets, help with the dance setup, be wait staff at the dance, to sell golf ball drop tickets, which is akin to selling a raffle ticket, and obviously gathering and soliciting donations in kind, which would be items that we can have for the auction. So really there are a number of ways to get involved, all of which are pretty easy, and I'm more than happy to talk to you personally if you drop me an email or give me a quick call.
Yeah, you can just go to get that off there. And just let me add a quick something if you got a second.
Yeah.
When Ryan was talking about the awareness, we eventually want these kids to recognize the fact that there's a deficit there, embrace the challenge, and learn to live their life with it. Generally, these kids end up in two places, incarcerated or dead. There's lots of them. It's really a sad, but it doesn't have to be that way. And if you take that as a challenge, I think that we can make a lot of make a dent on this thing.
All right, it's a local business that's taking on a really big cause. Advanced Helicopter in Frederick at the Frederick Municipal Airport and the Youth Foundation. We'll post stuff if we can on the website as people are riding around. It's hard to write down, the names. And I guess what's the one central place that people can go to get information?
Yes. It's the foundation website, which is www.ahfh ahyouthfoundation.org. So ahyouthfoundation.org.
All right. That does it. Thank you very much for dropping by.
Thank you.
Ryan, Neil, and Neil. Especially, we'll have to have you back on because we hope to have more time. But Blaine Young's brother happened to get in the headlines, and so.
Well, that's all right. He's invited us back, so thank you.
All right. Thank you once again for joining us. And you have a great afternoon. Blaine will be back tomorrow afternoon at